Okay, I've had this project in the works since late May, so it's definitely a project I've been working on for the longest yet. Definitely also going to be the longest video I release by far. I hope y'all enjoy, because I've worked hard on this. If you've been around my channel for any amount of time previously, you've probably heard or seen the name Falling Stars around. This video is just going to be a deep dive explanation on what Falling Stars is. I know I could just make a bunch of art and animations for it and y'all can piece the background and lore together yourself, but I really want to rant about my OCs, so that's not happening. In the background you'll see speed paints of all of the main 4 Falling Stars characters as well as the most important supporting characters, and a bit of other Falling Stars related art. Now, what actually is Falling Stars? Falling Stars is the name of my original series. It was originally going to be a bit more Warrior Cats inspired before, but I decided to turn it into my own thing altogether. Falling Stars takes place in a non-Earth world, on a large continent called Ferris. The continents are dominantly ruled by cats, but not just normal cats, magic cats. There are 4 species of magic cat: Flumen, cats of the sea; Cavernas, cats of the caves; Morris, cats of the sky; and Silvus, cats of the trees. There are also common cats, magicless cats, like the cats you and I know. They all live together on the continent. Magic cats living in the places suitable to their species, while common cats fill the space where they can get it. All cats start out as kittens, obviously. When the kitten is done nursing at 2 to 3 months old, they begin learning to use their magic. The kitten will be trained by all full-grown cats who choose to help them, but most of the responsibilities go to the kitten's parents. This part of training changes for the species and will be better explained in each species section. Once the kitten reaches the age of 1 year, they must choose a job to take on. Again, these jobs are all explained better in their section. When they choose their job, the village protector chooses their mentor. The mentor will train them mostly on their own, and when the mentor decides the trainee is ready, the trainee becomes a full member of that job. A cat can have multiple jobs and can choose to leave a job. Once a cat is too old to serve their job or cannot for any other reason, they retire. Retired cats have no duties, but are still allowed to hunt and teach. The name system works similarly to warrior cats, but isn't the exact same. When a cat is born, their parent gives them a one-word name reflecting their appearance, environment, or behavior. When a cat graduates from training and becomes a full member of their job, they have the option to either add a word of their choice to their name or keep the name as it is. Some cats will even change their entire name if their old name no longer suits them. As previously stated, every cat starts as a kitten. Kittens can't do much. Mostly they just have to stay alive. However, even as newborn kittens, the other cats in their village will tell the kittens stories of their colony, even before they can entirely understand them. When kittens reach the age of 2 to 3 months old, they begin their base training. They will not be allowed to leave the village unless older cats are with them. They begin to learn survival skills, like how to hunt, fight, and get around their homeland. Most importantly, they begin to learn to use their magic abilities. The beginner trainees are trained by cats in their village, but their parents usually do a significant amount of teaching them. When kittens are about a year old, or just whenever they are full grown, they decide which job they would like to take on. The guardian of the village decides who of the chosen role will teach the trainee. At this point, trainees begin learning how to do specific tasks in their role. Builders are one of those jobs that a cat can take on. Builders are in charge of building dens in their village and keeping their territory clean and safe from garbage and thorns. Most species have more builders than any other job because of how much work they have daily, and along with their usual tasks, they also help hunt and gather herbs for the healers. Healers are in charge of healing injured cats or sick cats. They also help parents raise their young and help the older cats stay healthy. They collect herbs from their territory, but they also meet with the healers from the other villages and even other species to exchange herbs and knowledge. Fighters are in charge of keeping their village and species safe. They fight in battles against other species of cats or common cats, or other animals that pose a threat. Fighters are also in charge of guarding positions and guarding the dominus. Mediators are in charge of keeping relations with other species of cats and common cats positive, as well as keeping their village and species cats happy and mentally healthy. They meet with every cat from their village often to help them work out their problems. They cannot show bias while doing their job. Basically, a cat therapist. Messengers are in charge of spreading messages, most often of their village to their dominus, but they also will take messages to the other species of cats. They take messages between healers or builders across species when they need resources or help. Guardians originate from any job and are chosen by the council and dominus of their species. A cat can request to become a guardian and start a village, or when a current guardian dies or retires, a cat can volunteer to take their place. If no cat steps up to take the guardian's place, the village can fall apart. Sometimes the dominus can nominate a cat to take charge until someone else steps up, sometimes even from another village. Each species has one village larger than the rest where the dominus lives, known as the dominus village. These villages have no guardians since the dominus protects the village. Every species has a council. Council cats are the most respected job. They are in charge of helping the dom doesn't think them a good fit for the council that they will fail their training and be forced to choose a different job. The dominus is the leader of a species. There is only one for each species. The dominus are in charge of representing their species. They carry out important decisions and lead any battles. If the council rules that the dominus does not represent the overall species well, then they can remove them from power. The dominus is the only job to have a Latin name due to their importance. When a cat has become too old or is otherwise incapable, they are permitted to retire. No cat can be forced to retire at any point. When a cat retires, they are no longer entitled to any duties. However, they may still help to hunt for their village and help teach the youngest members of the village. As previously mentioned, there are 4 main species of cats that rule the continent, along with the common cats. Flumen have the magic of the sea. Flumen are born with a long fin along their spine and 2 fins under each ear. They also have webs between their claws. Flumen also have the ability to breathe underwater. Flumen live in the Eastland, a habitat of islands with large mountains and massive rivers. The Flumen have more water in their territory than land. Flumen build their villages on the islands, each island having 1 to 3 villages. Flumen highly value a cat's strength. A Flumen must have physical strength to traverse the mountains and hill-covered lands, and to swim. Flumen sometimes have to fight with sea beasts such as dolphins or freshwater beasts such as alligators. Flumen will show off their battle scars as trophies, and cats of all ages enjoy sparring to show off their skill. It's become common practice for all Flumen, but especially fighters, to invent their own unique battle moves to use both above and under the water. Cavernas have the magic of change. They possess the ability to shift the shape of their body and bones. They cannot completely remove any part of their body, but they can make their legs shift longer or crack their jaw into odd shapes. They use this ability to turn themselves into horrifying creatures, causing many cats to call their territory the Haunted Lands. If you've seen the amazing Scavenger on the Wind Warrior Cats AU map, that's what inspired me to give the Cavernas this magic. Cavernas live in the Westland. Their territory, other than being known as the Haunted Lands, is also known as the Wastelands or the Lava Lands. Their territory is full of caves and ashes with lava rivers and mountains. There's also no water in their territory, their only water source being a river that comes from the Flumen Mountains. All villages are built in caves and have dens dug out underground and in the walls of the caves. Cavernas highly value bravery. If a caverna is scared of their own body, they are considered weak. Ever since the moment a caverna is born, they are exposed to the horrors that they appear as. Whenever a caverna leaves their territory or is around cats of other species, they make themselves as creepy as possible to intimidate other cats. Morris have the magic of the sky. When a Morris is born, they have feathered wings on their shoulders. Their wings are quite large and their bones are hollow so that they can actually fly. Their hollow bones make them quite light, so although they can fly, they aren't very strong. Morris live on the Northland. They live on the open grassland with a few sparse hills. The Morris make villages just about anywhere in their territory. They're made in patches of tall grass, divots in the ground, and on hills. Morris territory is mostly open land with nearly no trees. While they do have hills, they are very scarce. This landscape makes it easy for Morris to see their land. Despite the lack of trees, the Morris land is beautiful. Morris highly value beauty and use it as a way to show status and power. Morris have learned to care for flowers and other beautiful plants all year round and have made elegant gardens all around their territory. Caring for their gardens is only made more difficult due to the extreme weather conditions in the Morris land. From the start of fall to the end of winter, their territory is coated in snow, while the rest of the year they're blazed with heat. Silvas have the magic of the trees and are able to communicate with the animals they live with. When a Silvas matures and becomes a trainee, they leave their village with any other cats of their age. They spend about a month of their life wandering the Silvas land until they find an animal they bond with. When they've found their animal to bond with, also known as their companion, they move to the nearest Silvas village to live around and learn from their companion. Silvas are born with a unique digestive system, which allows them to be herbivores, and so it is actually illegal for any cat to intentionally kill any living animals on Silvas land. This also goes for non-Silvas cats, although trouble can still be caused by cats' companions attacking and even eating each other. Silvas live in the Southland. Their territory is made up of different types of forests, from swamps to mossy forests to jungles. A visual quality of the Silvas is that they have most often their fur will be bright neon colors. The only exception to this have been found in blind cats, who tend to have duller but still quite unique fur. Their vibrant fur has become a tell to the nature around them of what they are and that they aren't a threat. Silvas highly value empathy. They bond deeply with the animals around them, even beyond their specific companion. All villages know each other, and it's always very important for the new members of the village to be welcomed. However, Silvas don't tend to have very close bonds with their parents, since they leave home at a young age and can never be sure of when they'll see their parents again. Common cats are the odd one out between all kinds of cats. They have no magic, but they have learned many other skills to help them get around. Most common cats have learned to build dens out of wood, stone, and mud, and have the strongest built villages since they don't have any particular abilities to keep themselves safe. Common cats don't live in any one particular place. They build their villages in any space they can get their paws on. The easiest territory for the common cats to live in is the Morris land, since it is so open, and its beauty also attracts cats to live there. Other than that, the Flumen Islands can occasionally make a good home, although only the few common cats who have learned to build boat-like structures can get off the islands. Cavernous lands is almost uninhabitable due to the scarce food source and extreme heat, and a common cat cannot survive on the Silvas land due to the laws against killing any animals. However, the one place most populated by common cats is the Festival Plaza. The Festival Plaza was built so long ago no cat can say for certain how it came to be. The plaza itself is placed over the river between the Morris and Silvas land, and it spreads a bit to each side of the river. The ground is made of wood and stone. The plaza is massive, and homes many villages of common cats. There is a large stage at the center of the Festival Plaza, where cats can show off skills during the festival. Festivals occur 4 times a year, once for each season. Every village is allowed to pick one cat to show their talent on the festival stage. The festival is a time for cats to come together, share stories and skills, and enjoy the first day of the season. Common cats highly value loyalty. A common cat left on their own is easy bait for wild animals or even other cats. Common cats find strength in numbers and so form close bonds with their village mates. A common cat leaving their village is considered an unforgivable act. Word can easily spread between common cats, so if a cat leaves their village, they may never find a new home. I do plan to eventually have the entire Falling Stars series written out, although it'll be a while until it's done since I'm still just planning it. I have determined that it'll be a 5-book series, the first 4 books each being from one of our main characters' points of view, and the last book being from all of them and some. Our main 4 characters were all born on the same night, the night of a falling star. Most cats don't know this, but when a star falls, it has a chance of giving any cat born that night an extra or different kind of magic. By a rare but random chance, when these 4 cats are born, they all got the magic. It's even less likely for 2 cats in the same litter to get magic unless there's more than one falling star. When cats with extra magic are born, they appear to have no magic at all until some exponential life event that causes their magic to reveal itself. Every magic cat has a weakness to their power, which can cause them to revert to a sort of primal state, with their only goal being to get away from whatever their weakness is. Silverstrike is the point of view for the first book of the series. Silverstrike is a flumen. Ever since she was kidded, she knew she wanted to be a fighter. She's bold, loud, and tends to show off. When she was born without magic, many cats thought Silverstrike marked the death to magic. Since every cat looked down on her or was even scared of her, Silverstrike has always felt an extra need to show off how strong and capable she is, even without magic. She puts up a front to appear not to care what other cats think, but she truly craves the approval of cats around her. Her mother named her Silver after the color of her fur, and she added Strike for her fighting skills. Silverstrike's magic shows itself as the scales on her entire backside and her large teeth. Her tail takes the shape of a shark's tail, but it's shinier and smoother than an actual shark's. Silverstrike's weakness is hunger. She has to eat almost 10 times as much food as any other flumen. However, due to her resemblance to sharks, Silverstrike has a deeper connection to them and refuses to hurt them. The cats important to Silverstrike's story that I'm drawing here are Dolphinsplash, Marigold, and Reedwhisper. Dolphinsplash is at times her best friend and her worst enemy. The two are constantly competing and trying to one-up each other. However, they are the only friends each other has most of the time, so they end up just having to get along. Reedwhisper is Silverstrike's brother. He's shy, anxious, and quite intelligent. He's very quiet and keeps to himself, but the only cat he can really be a nerd to is his sister. Silverstrike doesn't meet Marigold until later in her life, but the two don't take long to fall in love with each other. Shadestalker's point of view of Book 2. He is a caverna. Shadestalker is shy and quiet, preferring to keep to himself. Shadestalker's mother died giving birth to him, so the only family Shadestalker's ever known are his half-brother and his father. His father, however, hates Shadestalker and blames him for the death of his mother. His father has taught Shadestalker's half-brother to hate him as well. Due to this, Shadestalker finds himself mostly alone in life. To escape the hostility of not only his family but also the other cats around him, who scorn him for his lack of magic, Shadestalker has always enjoyed exploring the land above the caves and even found an unclaimed cave when he was young, and he spent a lot of his time there. However, when he first found the cave, it wasn't completely uninhabited, as Shadestalker found a dragonette living in the caves. Now seems like the best time to mention that yes, dragons exist in Falling Stars. The dragonette had been abandoned by its family because it lacked the ability to make fire, so Shadestalker began hunting for it and caring for it. He named the dragon Clover, which ironically is Latin for heat, and kept him secret from everyone else he knew, knowing they would likely perceive the dragonette as a threat and kill it. Shadestalker's chosen job is a builder, so he helps dig out and secure caves, but he has also learned to sculpt and often uses clay and stone to make little sculptures, most of which he keeps in the same cave as Clover. Shadestalker was named Shade by his father, as requested by his mother before she died, and his father also added Stalker to the name, in his mind having it as a warning for the slinky and sneaky nature of Shadestalker. However, near the very end of Falling Stars, Shadestalker would change his name back to Shade. Shadestalker has an amplified version of cavernous magic. Instead of being able to roughly twist his body into odd shapes, he can completely liquefy his body. He can use this to get through even the smallest of spaces that otherwise would be impossible, and he can also use this to create tentacle-like limbs from any part of his body. Shadestalker's related cats being drawn here are his father, Ashastomp, his half-brother, Spark, and a friend he meets later in the story, Bloom. Whistleflame is the point of view for the third book in the series. They are a Morris. Whistleflame is intelligent and confident and enjoys learning about anything they can. When Whistleflame was born, their lack of initial magic made it so that they had no wings. Other cats their age would antagonize and even bully them over it. They tried their best to ignore it as their mother told them to, but they always hated it. Whistleflame decided to take on the role of a messenger since they enjoyed exploring and hoped to even be able to explore other land beyond the Morrises. Some cats, including Whistleflame's bullies, tried to argue that Whistleflame couldn't be a messenger since they couldn't fly, but they convinced them eventually. When Whistleflame was born, their mother named them Whistle after the whistling of the wind in the grass. After Whistle gained their magic, they added Flame to their name. Whistleflame's magic shows itself in the flames that consume their fur, turning it from being white like it was when they were born to a glowing orange. Their fur burns to the touch, and when they walk through the grass, they leave a trail of ash. Their fire has also formed wings, however it takes Whistleflame a while to learn how to fly. Whistleflame's related characters drawn here are one of their childhood bullies turned weary friend, Hawk, as well as Light, the Dominus of the Morris, who becomes important for Whistleflame's story, as well as Lif. Lif is an odd cat. Mellowtangle is the point of view for book 4 in the series. She is a Sylvis. Mellowtangle is thoughtful, quiet, and often expressionless. She was born male, but found out quickly that she was not, in fact, a tomcat. She was also born with poor vision, which deteriorated throughout her life. By the time we get to her point of view, she only has a tiny amount of blurry vision left. Mellowtangle has never been too worried about losing her vision, as she prefers to hear and smell her way around anyways. She knew early on that she wanted to be a mediator, as she always had a deep empathy and understanding for the cats around her. Even when cats would tease her for how odd and closed off she was, she would only pity them for their problems in them she found so obvious, but they were completely oblivious to. Stagstep was chosen to be her mentor, since they too are blind, but are still one of the best mediators the Sylvis have ever known. Mellowtangle's magic only shows itself when Mellowtangle allows it to. She has to stay still in a single place for a long period of time, usually asleep. When she does this, plants such as vines and flowers will grow from her fur. The plants will change depending on the environment she chooses to wait in. She can easily remove these plants, however they do take patches of fur with them. Mellowtangle has a lot of important characters to her story, and I just couldn't think of any I could leave off. Her best friend, Cherryblossom, Cherryblossom's future mate, Butterfly, Cherryblossom's ex-mate, Clover, and Cherryblossom's son, Melon. So a lot of characters important to Cherryblossom are also important to Mellowtangle. Then we also have Mellowtangle's mentor, Stagstep, a patient of Mellowtangle's, Bumblebee, and a cat who will be important to every character's story, Willow. I first came up with the idea for Falling Stars a bit over a year ago. It's not the first time I've written a story of my own. I wrote a different one completely in the Warrior Cats universe with my own original characters. I started about 4 years ago and just finished it last year when I gave up on editing it and decided to start fresh. I might talk about it more in the future, but if anyone is interested, it wasn't very well written at all and wasn't planned just about at all, so it could be fun to look back on and laugh at. Initially, I had started planning a story in the Warrior Cats universe about a she-cat named Ringstripe who switched from Shadow Clan to River Clan. However, I decided a while back that writing that story that I wanted to do something completely original. So that's when I started inventing the universe of Falling Stars. It was only while listening to the song Burning Pile by Mother Mother that I got the idea for a fire cat, and then it went from there. I get most of my best ideas while listening to music. After I figured out some world building, I started planning the story out. I took some inspiration from the YouTuber Sunnyfall's planning process she talked about using for her story, which I would recommend if you're writing a story of your own, or if you're just bored. My next step for the story is to just finish up my chapter-by-chapter planning and then start writing the actual books. I will eventually make the written-out series public, whether it just be by sharing the Google Docs or by actually publishing it if I'm still interested enough in the story when it's done. I've made sure not to spoil any of the most important plot beats and just lay out the ground of the story so you can understand what I'm talking about a bit better, and can decipher my AMVs, PMVs, and whatever else I decide to make with these characters. This project took me several months, but was definitely worth it. If you guys are interested in more talking videos like this, please let me know. I have 2 more ideas for talking videos. I'll probably make whether or not you want them, but after that it's up to you guys to decide whether you're interested in seeing them from me. And I'm open to suggestions. This is the first talking video I've made with an actual recording equipment, thanks Dad. And also, I deleted all of my old stuff, so well, just pretend this is the first talking video I've ever done. Either way, I've got plenty more content coming and lots of your usually scheduled art. I'm trying to move away from just posting speed paints and posting more high quality stuff, so again, any suggestions are very appreciated. If you are interested in drawing any of these characters I drew today, please do. I love seeing art of my characters drawn by other people. Just tag me in a post of the art and I'll be sure to share it. I get even more excited if it's a drawing from the character's story. I've linked all of my AMVs or PMVs I've made for Falling Stars characters so far, which as of this posting will be 4 total, 1 for each main character. Anyways, thank you for watching, please consider subscribing, it helps a ton. I'll be down in the comments if you'll have any questions, requests, etc.